Denied Access was produced by the Jesuit Institute of South Africa. One of the producers, Ricardo da Silva, with us this morning. But first, a sneak peek of the documentary.
The town of Musina, Limpopo. Thousands of migrants, asylum seekers and refugees come here from across Africa. They come with a single hope: to rebuild their lives.
I'm from DRC. We're running because of war.
It's impossible for us to remain because they are going to kill us.
Their efforts to access basic necessities are thwarted by the system that puts politics and policy before human dignity.
Ricardo da Silva. Morning, Ricardo. Thanks for your time. Why these stories? Why a documentary about this?
Morning, Yuveka. I think the important thing for us to know is that refugees and asylum seekers is an urgent, or refugee and asylum seeking is an urgent need in our world today. In South Africa, we seem to think that it's not that big a deal in terms of the desperate situation that these people are in, as we might see in perhaps some Eastern European countries or crossing through the Mediterranean. Yet in Musina, on the border with Zimbabwe, we saw situations of desperate poverty, situations where people were being housed in tents, situations where women had been raped crossing the border, and a situation where there were thousands, well, not quite thousands, but there were many stateless children who had absolutely no access to nationality. And together with the Global Ignatian Advocacy Network, the Jesuit Institute, we're passionate about these issues around social justice. And so we thought, why not shoot a documentary?
So what are you hoping? I mean, apart from bringing awareness, are you hoping that a documentary like this is, I don't know, going to gain sympathy, empathy from South Africans, make them want to help? What is your aim with this? Certainly
sympathy and empathy, but more than that, just an awareness of the plight of people, and especially the ordinariness of these people. You know, we tend to think that these people are different, these people have come to look for our jobs, but actually these people have just come to look for a semblance of reality, of normality, of love, of life, and they're searching, as we all do. And so what we're trying to do is document that search and that humanity. So
how many personal stories are we seeing here? Are we talking, I mean, we saw sort of clips from some people, some of them. Yeah. Are we looking at different types of families? Have you spoken to couples or single women? Are there children in the documentary that you're talking
So we've shot individuals in the documentary. We haven't actually shot any families. And they've told their stories, that probably 7 or 8 individuals. One of them is a young learner, a matric learner, and we hear from the principal of the school, Musina High School, where he was forced by policy to expel these students because they don't have the necessary documentation to complete their matric studies. But having believed that this man is a villain because he's exacting policy, he then tells us how, out of sympathy, he allowed these learners to continue and really risked his job. So we have stories where we have people who have gone beyond policy and looked towards the human aspect.
Ricardo, what would you say to South Africans who would say, we find ourselves in the same situation? Here, we are South African. We face the same challenges every day. Why should we care?
We should care because we shouldn't make a distinction between human beings. Whether I'm from South Africa, whether I'm from Portugal, whether I'm from Algeria, I'm a human being first and foremost. And that's really what Pope Francis says. You know, there's a quote at the beginning of the documentary where Pope Francis stresses that refugees above all are human persons. And that's what we're trying to communicate with this documentary.
Now, I see that you had invited the mayor of Johannesburg, Herman Mashaba. He's had some controversial views or mutterings when it comes to people who are not South African crossing the border. What happened there?
More than some. So we did extend an invitation to the mayor. We received an email a few days before saying that unfortunately the mayor could not make it. It didn't surprise us, but we wanted to engage him on this topic.
I was just going to ask, why did you invite him?
Purely because we wanted to engage him, and we wanted to show him the very humanity of these people, which I believe he knows, but is lacking in doing anything about.
Okay, so this has, you've already screened it, 10th of December. Where else would we be able to find it and watch it, Denied Access?
So if the viewers go to spotlight.africa/denied access,
okay,
they'll have access to it.
spotlight.africa/denied access.
Indeed.
They'll have access to the documentary.
They will.
Okay, well, let's
free
hope
of
it has
charge.
the free of charge. Let's hope it has the effect you hope it will, and bring in some help.
Great.
For these people who find themselves in this situation. Thank you very much, producer, one of the producers of the documentary Denied Access, Ricardo da Silva, joining us here on Morning News today.